Hello everyone and welcome to this video. This video we're going to be going over reviewing comparables part 2. We're going to go through the first task that I had assigned, which was to review the successful Airbnbs and find the most common features that you see with those. And for this video, I have not reviewed all of them and handpicked the best ones. I'm doing this one raw. I just want to be able to actually show you what I'm thinking as I'm going through and trying to figure it out as I go through, because that's generally how you're going to do it. I want you to see exactly how I do it. So what we're going to do is head over to the spreadsheet. I have preloaded one, but I want to do at least 2 to 3. Okay, and what I did was I came over to this portion. So this is where I collect all of my data. I found the annual revenue. We're looking at the 2 bedrooms, right? I went to the revenue section and I grabbed one that was higher than the average annual revenue. So the average annual revenue being 77,000, and I found one that was 91,000. And what I did was I opened up. I created a new tab down here, and I put the listing link right there so I can refer to it. I put the revenue so I can able to refer back to it, and then I created a column header called features. And then what I'm going to do is I already have the listing open up here, and I'm just going to go through and list all the different features that I think is making this home successful. Okay. Now, obviously, I said I was going to do this raw, but I did want to set up one just so I had an idea of how I wanted to lay this out, and you'll see me as I go through this. Okay. So this is the listing here, and we want to take a look at everything from the beginning before getting into the photos to really understand what we're looking at. Okay. So the very first thing that I see is that it's an Airbnb Plus. Now, for those of you who do not know what an Airbnb Plus is, an Airbnb Plus is a section of Airbnb for certain homes that meet a 100-point checklist. Okay, it's a very thorough checklist. You essentially have to have, a brand new home. It's got to be really well designed. Everything's got to be working perfectly, things like that, right? So I had this done with 2 of my homes. One of them got put through. The other one, they told me I had to redo the flooring if I wanted to get approved. And this home was like, well over 100 years. The flooring did have marks on it, but it's like I wasn't going to redo the entire floor. I also was renting it, so it's one of those things where it's like, well, it is what it is, right? And it was just some scrapes on the floor, but nothing really crazy. So in other words, Airbnb Plus is really high standards, so people know that they're getting something that's high quality, and that's why Airbnb Plus homes tend to do a little bit better. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over here and say I'm just going to type in Plus. That's a great feature. I know exactly what Plus means. It means Airbnb Plus, and that's the very first thing that I see. Now I'm going to come back, and what I want to do is actually look at the review, okay, or their review, like how many they have and how well it's been doing. So I can see this one has 24 reviews, okay, and it has a 4.56 star review. Now, right now at this point, I don't know if that's good or bad. You realize that, right? Like, so I don't have anything to compare that with. What I'm just trying to do is I'm just trying to add all this information down here because this is a home that clearly is doing better than the average. And so what are they doing that's making them better, right? So I want to pull in that information. And then once I have a bunch of different listings all put together, then I can actually know if what the common traits are that make it successful. Another thing I just noticed, it's a super host, right? So being a super host means you have to keep your home at a certain standard, not just the way it looks, but the way that you take care of the guests. I can also tell that they are a super host right now, but you have to have a 4.8 star review to be a super host. So these guys that on their next review, if they don't get that back up, it happens about every 3 months. If they don't get this back up, they're actually going to lose their super host status, right? Now, obviously looking right here, this is generally where the photo would be of the host, but I can see that this is clearly run by a company. And I know this company to be Vacasa, Illinois. So I'm just going to put Vacasa because Vacasa, if you guys don't know, they are one of the largest Airbnb property management companies in the entire United States. They're worth over $1 billion. So clearly, they know what they're doing, and that's a good feature for me to realize, right? Doesn't mean just because they're a big company doesn't mean that you can't do as well as they are. I actually think that they do a lot of their things wrong, and they don't really put a lot of a personal touch and stuff like that. So there are a lot of things that you can improve on, right? They have something that works for them, and so be it, right? What I want to look at now is I want to check the description. It's a very small description. I don't know if I need to write in that anything about that right now. So for the most part, I don't really want to get into the amenities just yet. Let's go back up and go through the photos. Let's actually take a look at the place itself and try and decide, like what are we looking at, right? So, well designed. We know we have a good design here. I would say this is not like a modern design or a new design. It's more of like a uh, like an older design. You know what I mean? The style that we're looking at with these old brown leather chairs and the brown couch, it's more of like an older design, right? It's maybe people who are 50 or so would design a home that way. So I'm going to say that it's a good interior design, but older person, I apologize to anyone who's reading this, older person design, right? So it's not young, hip, nothing like that. I'm going to actually separate these because it is a good, it is well designed, right? So good interior design, like it's not poorly designed, but the style that they have is sort of an older crowd, right? They're looking for an older crowd with this type of design, and maybe that's the future. The type of people that are willing to pay a little bit more and what they're used to and they're comfortable with, and so that's something that's good to know, right? However, we don't know that yet. So another thing I noticed is that this is a good sized living room. I do have a little bit of advantage of my knowledge already of this part of the city, and I know that most of the living rooms and dining rooms like are tiny, tiny in this area. So I'm gonna say it's a good sized living room. It's not massive, but it's a good sized living room. All these tiny little things, guys. I promise you, it feels like this is an annoying video to go through where we're just going through step by step. But like, this is the stuff that makes the difference. This is the stuff that you want to know. See right out here, I can see that this is clearly in a high rise, right? High rise, and we got these ceiling to floor windows. So I'm going to put that in because that is a good feature. So they're in a high rise, and then they have ceiling to floor windows. Why is that a good thing? Because that brings in a lot of natural light. And when you have a lot of natural light, it makes everything brighter, makes people feel better. So it's just a good thing to have, right? Let's keep scrolling down. Now we're in the kitchen. I can see with these pictures of the kitchen that we have a nice countertop. We've got good stainless steel appliances all the way across. It's nice and white and finished. And if you look at, over here, we've got an island with some nice leather chairs and a good amount of space as well, once again. So, I'm not just going to say good kitchen. I'm going to say great kitchen. Great kitchen. Now I want to put some features about the great kitchen, right? So we got great kitchen, white uh, cabinets. Those make a difference nowadays. Good countertop, island with stools. And then we're also going to state that there is lots of space. Okay, so we're not looking at a small kitchen. We're not looking at a tight, tiny little thing. We want to know that, and I do want to point out right away. Okay, if you just want to go about this super quick and you don't really want to dive as deep as I'm referring to, and you don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, at least look at the kitchen and bathrooms. Okay, look at the kitchen, bathroom, and the amount of space that is available, because those are the three main things that are going to stand out the most, right? So if this house has a pretty decent kitchen, it's not high end luxury, but it's a pretty decent kitchen, right? If you go and look for a home and you're trying to think that it's comparable, but it's got a tiny little beat up old kitchen, well, that's an instant red flag, and you should probably run away from it. Now, so the same thing with the bathrooms. Generally, if you have a luxury bathroom compared to a shitty bathroom, they're not going to do as well. Okay, so it's just simple knowledge as that. If the place is tiny, 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 you can barely fit anything in there compared to a place that has a lot of space, like the one we're looking at right now. It's just not going to do as well. So you got to know, like, if you don't want to go into the nitty gritty details, then just look at the kitchen, bathroom, and the amount of space that's available. Also, the fact that it's a high rise, but that's just significant to this specific location within the city. Does that make sense? I hope so. It's very simple, but we're going to keep going for everyone else because we want to know the details, right? Now, as you can see, we got a balcony out here, which is nice. It even says that right there. We got a balcony, we got a TV, room darkening shades. So these are actually three key things. They have room darkening shades. That's hotel standards. They have a TV and they have a balcony. I'm going to bring all three of those over here because why not, right? So we're going to put that. There's a TV TV in bedroom, and then there's also a balcony in the bedroom, right? Those are good features to have. If I'm looking, if I'm trying to compare with people and they've got a balcony and I don't have a balcony, well, that's going to make a difference. The guests can't walk out, right? People want that. this room has, decent space, and it's a queen bed. This one's a king bed, so that's good to know. So they got, the fact that they can fit a king bed in one room tells me that that room's going to be a fairly large room. And we're in a high rise. We're in downtown Chicago. That's a good sized room, right? That's awesome. Um, Queen bed in the other room. Both beds made well and presented well. Okay, so these are all really good features, and please take note as you're looking at these things. Right, look at the design. Look how the pillows are lined up. Look how there's a lamp on either side, and the pictures are symmetrical. There's a headboard. The way this photo is shot, the way that photo is shot. These are all the things that you need to start internalizing, because that's the way you should be making your listing, right? And if you'll notice, like, okay, this guy's doing well. What if I just did what he's doing, right? Then boom, you have a recipe for success right away, right? Like that's the thing. That's what we're trying to do. I can see that there's a balcony in this room as well. I want to make sure I take note of that. There's a balcony in both rooms. I'm just going to put that. Maybe that'll be a useful thing. So now the bathroom we're looking at, clearly it's a really nice bathroom, right? We got some solid, I think it's granite. I apologize if I'm wrong. Solid granite top, a good bathroom. It's, white all over. That makes it look very, very clean. So that's awesome. And then the very last photo is just the outside of the building. So I'm just going to say, great bathroom. We're going to do the same thing as the kitchen. Great bathroom, white cabinet, good countertop, nice shower. I know these are the words nice, great, good, but the thing is that helps me know. Like, I don't need the finer details of exactly what kind of shower. I just need to know that it's a good shower, right? Is it a luxury shower? Is it a good shower? Is it a high end shower? Is it a low end shower? Is it a dirty shower? Like, those are the, you as I'm saying those words, you are picturing them, those things right now. You know what I mean? So that's how that works for me as well. Is if I put great bathroom, then I know it's a good one. I know it's great, right? If I put luxury bathroom, I know it's luxury. So that's the idea. So that's what we want to put in there, and those are all the features for this one listing. Okay. We've gone through the entire thing. We could go back and look at each individual amenity, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty standard. I don't think that's really what's going to make the big difference when we're looking at all of this. Now, there is a gym and a pool. Those probably are big deals, so I am going to put those in there because it seems like the guests are allowed to use them. And so I want to make sure to note those things. So those, I can see those being a big deal. You know what I mean? All these other ones, self check-in, dishwasher, TV, everyone has those, right? Everyone has them. It would be ridiculous if you didn't, so anyways, everyone seems to have all these features, and I'm not worried about that. So they have free parking on premise. So they actually do not have free parking. Maybe that's a feature. There are homes that do a little bit better. Maybe those homes have parking, right? Maybe they're directly comparable, but that's the difference. So there we go. So we've gone through this entire listing. I am going to make a note of exactly where it's pinpointed within this area. So for those of you who don't know, we are looking right here. This is the near north side of Chicago. This is Chicago. This is north of Chicago, so it's near north. Super simple. Anyways, so it's right in between River North and Streeterville. These are just smaller little places. It's right by Meg Mile as well. So I'm going to say close to Meg Mile. That does make a difference in Chicago. You got to know your city just a little bit to be able to actually get this stuff right. Okay. Boom. We got one done. This is going to be probably one of the longer videos because I'm gonna keep going through all this stuff. So just bear with me as we go through. Speed it up if you feel like you have to. Let's head and find another one. So we got this one that did 91. I have this one that also did 91. I want to see, it's also from Vacasa, so I want to find a slightly different one. This is a 97 from Vacasa. Let's see if we can find something else that isn't from them, also did well. This one's at 80. That's technically above. That's kind of the range that we want to look for. Let's do this one. No, let's stick with these ones that are significantly above because we really want to know what makes them that much better. Okay, so we're going to open up this listing. I'm going to come back over here as that's loading. I'm going to grab this number and I'm going to put that as the annual revenue for this next home that we're going to look at. Okay. And then we're going to come back over here and I'm going to grab, well, let's see. Oh, it opened up. Oh, it says no internet. That makes no sense. There we go. Hope this is still recording. That would be upsetting if it stopped. Let's just double check. Let's see. Nope, we're okay. We're still going. We're only 15 minutes in. All right, this is loading. I'm going to grab this link here. We're going to come over here. Oops. Yeah, we're going to come over here. We're going to go to this section here, and we're going to put the link there. So I just want to put the link in. So now I know which home I'm referring to and exactly how well that home did, right? So these are important things to remember, to know. And now we're going to start making the list of the features for this home. That is actually, I think, the most successful home in the area. So we want to know why, right? So let's head over. I can see right away it's not an Airbnb Plus, okay? So a couple things I'm going to point out right away. It's not an Airbnb Plus. It is with Vacasa. It is a super host. And so I'm going to write those three things down because we did talk about it before, not Airbnb Plus. Now, the reason why I would write something that it's not is because the one above is, right? So I want to make sure that I'm pointing out the differences between these two. So it's not Airbnb Plus. They are a super host, and the Vacasa is the host. I also noticed that the listing has a 4.66 and 35 reviews. So 4.66, 35 reviews. Let's go back here and say rating. Okay, 35 reviews. We got that in there. Now I'm going to point something out here. I think this title, just based off of this title, luxury 43rd floor. That pulls people in, right? So I'm going to put great title, and then I'm going to actually I'm going to copy and paste this guy right over because I really like this one, and I think it's going to pull people in. And now that I'm looking at that, I want to see what's the other title, right? So if we come over here, let's see what the old walk to Meg Mile from a high-rise apartment. It's very subtle. It's classy, walk to Meg Mile. Being able to walk to Meg Mile is a big deal in Chicago, right? It's one of the best shopping spaces. It's also a high-end area, so there is that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create another row here just above this one, and I'm going to put the title. So I'm just going to put title, and I'm going to paste it. That gives me an idea of exactly what the title is. We'll refer back to that. It could have a psychological effect on people deciding, if they should rent a place out or not. But, just thinking about being on the 43rd floor is such a good feeling. Just right away. The place is called Grand Plaza. It's a suite. We're right next to Meg Mile. There's an exclamation point at the end. We got pool and gym. It just pulls you, right? Another thing I want to note is look at these opening photos. We got a huge living room where you can clearly see out of all of these windows, right? We have a pool over here and then a beautiful shot from the balcony at night. All three of these photos are great eye-pulling photos that really make you like the place instantly, okay? So now I want to go back to this one and say, what did this one have? And what we're looking at here, obviously it's an Airbnb Plus, so it's actually set up a little bit differently. Kind of upsetting, to be honest, because if you look at it, we just see a living room, which is decent. We can't even really see out the window, and then we're into a bedroom. So it's not very as eye-catching. So I am going to go back and say, great photos on the opening page. Really eye-catching, and pulls you in. Okay. So I know that you're probably laughing at the descriptions or thinking that these descriptions are super weird the way I'm putting them down, but this is just the way that I think it makes the most sense, right? So let's see. The last time I did this, I looked at to see how much I wrote contact host because their description is so small. Oh, it's right here. Read more. Oh, wow. It's a long one, eh? That's interesting that they would have such a long description, right? It's the same company, but they have such a long description on this one compared to the other one. So there's a lot of information here. All right, well, let's put that all in here and say, really long description. Really long description. I think that's good enough. So really long description. Maybe that's something that really helps. Now let's head over to the photos because that's what we did last time. We went straight to the photos. So I can see right away that this place has even a better living room with even more views of the city and light coming in, and it's brighter. It just all around is brighter, but we can see the style is that older style. You know what I mean? It's nothing fancy. It's a decent design, but in all reality, like it's not that it's nothing special, right? So we're gonna go. It's gonna put everything that I just saw. So it's got a massive living room, and maybe that's not massive to most people, but you got to remember where you're looking again, right? And like I said, most of these places around here do not have living rooms that big. So we're gonna say massive living room, right? I'm gonna put in comparison to other units in the area. Okay, so it's a big living room. Then we're gonna say lots of windows with views of the city. Very lots of natural light. Okay, lots of natural light. What else do we got? We saw that there's lots of natural light. Oh, the design, right? The design of the place. So, good interior design, old person style. I'm just gonna write that again. I know it may be offensive to some people, and I apologize, but that's what I'm writing. So we've got a dining table. By the way, never get glass dining tables. It's really hard to keep clean, and it just doesn't show well. We can see right away they're showing a bunch of photos, of the skyline. So sorry, that's instantly what I saw was the skyline, right? That's what they're trying to show off there. Then over here, we can see that they have a pool. I know they have a pool, but we're going to get to that later. They got a balcony, a good sized balcony. So a good size balcony. The other one it seemed like two balconies, but they were small individual balconies that were on their own, right? Now we're looking at the living room from another angle, and we can see the views over here as well. So what they're doing really great here is getting the windows and the views from the windows in almost every shot, right? I love these shots too because you can see the bedroom, and I bet you the next photo is the bedroom. And if it's not, I'm going to be upset because that's such a great transition. Let's see. Oh, it's not. It's in the kitchen. Okay. Anyway, so kitchen is pretty well the exact same as a lot. It's close. It's close. This is it's a decent kitchen, nothing special. So let's just go. It's even smaller than the other one actually. So it's a decent kitchen, smaller than the one above. Worse countertops, white cabinets. What else did we notice? Stainless steel, and let's say we're good with that. Okay, so that's everything about the kitchen. So let's keep looking. Interesting. I find that very interesting. This one does about $8,000, $6,000 better. But the kitchen is I would say not crazy worse, but it's like noticeably not as good as the other one. In this bedroom, we have that looks like a king, but it doesn't tell me. So that's a big room though, with views again and the balcony. The bathroom, once again, I would say this is a decent bathroom. It's not as nice as the other one, so I'm going to say the good size room with balcony. Then I'm going to go and say decent bathroom. So the bathroom and the kitchen in this listing that makes more money is not as nice as the one that makes less money, which is why I say you want to go through all of the details because that's what makes the difference, right? Yes, you can take a look at the main three, kitchen, bathroom, space, but all these other little things are actually going to help out even more so. And like I can already tell you, one of the main differences that I'm seeing from this listing and this listing is first off the title and the presentation on those first 5 photos are amazing, But on top of that, the amount of shots that have the city skyline in the background is pulling people in. Those are, whether you are directly looking at that or you're looking at the things and being able to see it subconsciously in your background, those shots of the city, I guarantee, are making a huge difference with this home. And if you didn't pay attention to those things, then you're just looking at the kitchen and the bathroom, and you're going to get it wrong, right? So decent bathroom, so good sized second room. It's not much going on there. Sorry, I was talking, but I was also thinking. It's just a decent room. There's not much to it. It is a good size, but it's nothing special. So that's it, right? I mentioned earlier in the video, pay attention to what these people are doing, because it is working. And if you take a look, they have the white sheet again. They have 3 pillows, just like they did in the other listing. This is Vacasa again, right? They have 2 lampshades and 2 photos above and a nice headboard. This is almost the exact same bedroom layout that we saw in the complete other listing altogether, right? I'll actually just go to it real quick. So it's right here, and we're looking at it. See, the exact same layout. Photos up here, 3 pillows. You got the white, you got the lampshade, and the thing on the bottom. If we come over here, it's the exact same, right? If there's a formula to this that just works. It completes it. Pay attention to it, okay? Let's keep going. We got quite a few other photos to get through. There's about 50, but I doubt we're going to go through all of them. Photos of the skyline. That's great. They got photos of the skyline right in there. I think that's really smart, because you're showing people what they're going to see. These guys are playing the skyline in the downtown scene like crazy, right? So great night photos of the downtown scene from balcony. These little photos make such a huge difference with profitability, like to be able to do this. And then you got photos of all the other amenities. I really don't think I have to go through all 50 of these, because I think they might accidentally replicate. Anyways, it's a lot of photos of the building. So lots of photos of the building amenities. I apologize. I think that's what they're wrong. So what I'm saying there is that there's a lot of photos of just like what the building offers itself, right? Now let's hop out and let's go to their amenities now and see if they have a gym and they have a pool. Okay, so those are both things that so we got gym and then we got pool. Those are both in the other spot as well. So that's something that's good to point out, because they're not common everywhere. So that's the end of this one. So we've got, let's see, take a look at the map, and it's in the exact same spot, okay? Might even be in the same building. This is the Grand Plaza. I don't think this one says which building it's in. So let's just go over here and say right next to Meg Mile, okay? Right next to Meg Mile. So we're starting to see things that are common amongst both of these places. They both have a gym, they both have a pool, they're both really close to Meg Mile, right? So if I'm looking at this entire near north side, I'm guessing I want to be a little bit closer to Meg Mile than if I were to be further away. Might be worth it to pay an extra $500 a month to be closer to Meg Mile than to be further away, right? Things like that. They're both super hosts. They're both with Vacasa. Their reviews are roughly around the same. They however, one's an Airbnb Plus and the other one's not. What else? They both have the same interior design. They got good sized living rooms. They're both in a high rise. We can see that they have lots of light that are coming through. One has a little bit more than the other. The kitchens are roughly the same. They're not vastly different. But one is definitely better than the other. They got that TVs in the bedrooms. They both have balconies. They both have, like I already said, good sized rooms. So these are, a lot, like almost identical in a way listings, right? Like they're very, very, very similar. For the sake of time, what I want to do, because we're seeing 90 and 97, they're super close. They're both really high up there. We're already at a half an hour into this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over, and instead of pulling a third successful Airbnb listing, because I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of the same stuff, what I want to do is actually go to the ones that are not doing as well and see if I can find the reasons why they're not doing as well. Okay, so I'm going to take this little thing right here. So I'm just going to take all this, I'm going to copy it, and I'm just going to go right over to here. and I'm going to put it in. And what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to write at the top, less successful Airbnb's common features. Okay, so let's hop back over to the sheet where you've tracked and pulled all of your data, and let's take a look at which ones are doing the worst. So I can see this one is at 42, and I want to know why it's doing so bad, right? So let's open it up. Actually, I'm going to take that back because I do know this one. It's a completely different layout. It's not normal. This one's at 80. It's doing well. We got 63 here. So let's take a look at this 63 and figure out why the 63. Now remember, when we're pulling in all of this data, we're looking at the average. Hold on, let me make sure this isn't a one bath. It is a one bath. Okay, so we're going to go to the one above, and the one above is going to be a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, which is the same what we've just been looking at. And we want to take a look at that. So let's pull this one up and try and figure out why it's doing 63 in comparison to the other ones that are doing 93, right? And let's let this load. I'm going to grab this link while it's loading. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to this other tab, right? And I'm going to put it, the listing link is going to go right there. Then I'm going to go back over and I'm going to grab the revenue being 66. So 66 is, it's not far off from 77, but it is, you know what I mean? It is about 10,000 off. So we want to make sure that we know why it's 10,000 off, right? And mind you, that's an average. But so let's go back up here. So right away, we can see that it's not an Airbnb Plus and it's not a Superhost. Okay, those are two things that we looked at last time right away. So let's go back over and say not Airbnb Plus, not Superhost. Okay, so there we got those two in. Now let's grab its rating. So we got 4.76 and 200 reviews. So we got 4.76 rating and 200 reviews. Okay, so we have that information in. Now I'm going to take the title because I did that last time with the other ones. And let's put that in here. So we're going to go title, and we'll paste that in there. Now, one thing I do want to mention is I want to give a shout out to Danny Roostin. And I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, Danny. But Danny wrote the book called Optimize My B&B. I've used his book religiously. He talks about all the different ways that you can optimize a listing to, really amp it up and bring yourself to the top of the list, to be on the first page of Airbnb, right? It's kind of like with Google. You want to be on that first page. When was the last time you went to the 5th page of Google to try and find something, if you've ever done that, right? So, it's the same thing with Airbnb. You don't want to be hidden on the 5th page of Airbnb. You want to be on that first page. Danny teaches you all these different ways that you can optimize your listing to get there. And at the same time, he teaches you all these different little psychological tricks that will really help with your advertisement, that makes it more attractive to people when they're looking at it. The exact same piece of property, that it just makes it more attractive. So, one thing I noticed right away that I hate about this listing is the title, because first off, it says corner 2x2. Now this right here, just saying 2x2, I know what that means. It means 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Maybe you know what it means too, but it just does not look good. Okay. Now next, he says luxury. All of these words do not have a capital at the beginning. None of them have capitals. And if you come over here, we got Grand Plaza, Meg Mile that have capitals. These other ones don't have capitals because they're not technically, words that need capitals, but it flows well. Luxury has a capital. The Grand Plaza has a capital. It does have a nice flow to it, right? Over here, we can see, I believe, these guys walk to Meg Mile from high-rise apartments. See how they put high-rise? These don't need capitals, but they put it in there because it's a title. It looks classier. It looks better, right? So he doesn't have that right away. So it just kind of looks slumpish. I don't know how to explain that, but it just does, kind of gives that feel. So that's one thing right off the bat that I noticed. It is a regular host. His name is Anthony. But I can also see that there's something right here. So this is telling me that this is most likely a company. And I did look at, when I was putting all the properties in and putting the host name and making notes on the properties, I did notice this twice. So I do want to write that name down. So it seems to be run by a company. Okay, I haven't dived into the listing, but I have overlooked it from one of the other steps within this process, right? I don't know why I cannot remember the letters of this word. Viti. Okay, and then the host is Anthony, right? So now we've got that recorded, and we want to. So let's go back for a second. Let's look at the photos. So just to give you guys an understanding, your first 5 photos should be the ones that stick out like crazy. This is a great photo. I can already tell this is a really nice listing just based off of this photo alone, right? We got all these beautiful things, but I'm really bothered by the fact that he took a picture of a high rise and you can't even really tell what you're looking at. I know these buildings because I'm from here, but this is a terrible, terrible photo and you can't really see anything. Then over here, I can see he's got all these reviews saying how great it is, but I don't want to see that right here. I want to see that as I'm going through. This one isn't too bad because he like sort of white watermarked it, right, where it's kind of you can see through it. That's not terrible. So, but the thing is I'm looking at the living room part of the kitchen. I'm looking at the living room. I'm looking at the living room. I'm looking at the living room. You want to put your best features on your first 5 photos, right? And he did not do this at all. Why can I see this cabinet with the TV in almost every single photo except for the one that's just a partial shot of buildings, right? So instantly right off the bat, those are things that I noticed. And just to give you an idea, right? Let me just flip back and forth. You tell me which one stands out a little better, this one or this one, right? Which one is pulling you in a little bit more compared to these two? And it's obviously going to be, this one because you're seeing a pool, you're seeing this great shot, and over here, what you're seeing is you're seeing this great shot, but all of this sucks, right? Even the title sucks. Just the way that it's like formatted, it's not coming together as well. So something to keep in mind, okay? I am going to mark that down and say that the not great first 5 photos, okay? So we're looking at that now. Now let's click and let's actually get through the photos. The thing is, I love the way this looks. I actually really do like this living room sort of area. I can tell though, right, that it is smaller than what we were looking at before. See how the couch is right here, you got a table, and it's pretty well touching the TV, right? And then you have the dining room back here. This is without me even like really diving in to see the different angles. I can see that right away, right? If we come over here, that is not the case with this one, right? You can see, look how much room there is here that's all open and everything. This is not, it's so right away you can tell it's a smaller unit, right? That's just flip through the photos to confirm. Terrible photo. I get why he did this right here, but I would recommend not doing it. This is okay. Once again, we're still looking at the exact same things, and we're not really getting a good angle on most of anything, right? Unfortunately. So see how tight this is. I mean, it's nice that he actually has a 4-seater table here, so that's kind of nice. What I'm trying to do right now is I am trying to gather a little bit more information to write down because So I'm just gonna write smaller space than successful ones, right? We can see that very clearly. Want to get the other angles. Smaller space in the living / dining area than successful ones. Okay. We noticed that. What else do we notice here? We noticed that he has a balcony, and I think he did good work, sort of good work by getting photos. You can tell he's not on the 43rd floor though, right? He's very low. So let's put that. I guess he didn't like. It's all blurry. The light doesn't shine through like it does with these guys here. Like look at the light coming in, right? In comparison to this, still good photos. Not complaining. So let's just go. Balcony, a high rise, but not very high up. Good windows with a lot of light. So we don't want to, we're not just trying to pick out just the bad things, even though it may feel like I'm doing that right now. I am just sort of noticing little things that I wouldn't do, right? The thing is this kitchen is beautiful, right? I mean, like that's a great kitchen. It's got so much space. The cabinets are really nice. There are a lot of windows too, so it's a good kitchen. I always want to see if we can get other photos of the kitchen from another angle, so we can get a better look at it. No, we're still looking at that TV stand. Okay, there we go. So, nice open kitchen. I think it's a bit smaller, but I'm just gonna put, it's a nice. It's a let's call it great, newer kitchen with island and stainless steel. And what else is nice about this? It's a tiny bit smaller, slightly smaller, but not too bad. So it's a good kitchen. Happy with that. Let's go. We're looking at the amenities. Random photo of it. Don't really need all of this stuff. I want to point that I'm actually going to write that down. That he of took pictures of the amenities. We didn't see that in the other section. Um, in the kitchen. Okay, so we didn't see that in the other section, in the other listing. So that's something he's doing a little bit different. So it's good to point out. So now we've got the bedroom, another shot of the bedroom, and we just jumped into another bedroom, and now we're into the bathroom. Okay, so let me make sure. There's one thing that I always don't like to do, which is go from one bedroom directly into another bedroom because you can't really tell the difference between one bedroom and the other one. Not all, I mean, most of the time you really can, but it's always great to split them up with another photo. See how they did this here, where it goes from bedroom, bedroom, bathroom, and then next bedroom. So that's a good thing to point out too, because psychologically, you feel like you're in the same bedroom, like you don't really realize that you switched bedrooms, even though it looks different, but at the same time you're still in a bedroom. So the order of the photos is not good at all. Went from bedroom to bedroom. So the thing that I'm noticing here is that this is actually like a good listing, but they're not understanding the psychology of people that are trying to pick out a place, right? So they're making a mistake here of just not simply being better at marketing or advertising, right? They shouldn't. They've got the same formula, the bed frame, the things, the photos above. They've got the same formula, but the thing is that they're not flowing the photos very well, right? They're not really like doing the things that allow for it to seem better than it to give it that great feel as you're going through and feel like you're really a part of it. Once again, Danny from Optimize My B&B, definitely read that book. So we got 5 photos of the bathroom, but it's a good bathroom. So good bathroom matches quality of the kitchen. You'll always find that the kitchen and the bathroom will be the exact same quality. It's just how it works. So they're always at the same quality. So if you have a good kitchen, you have a good bathroom. Now we got more random photos, and we're back to the TV stand. This has to be. What does this say? So this is enjoy the communal area. So that's the communal area. That's definitely not part of the listing. I got Wi-Fi. So communal area again. Yep, they're showing off the different amenities. They got a pool and a gym. Okay, so this is a way better photo of the downtown, but it is what it is. So photos of the building amenities. Let's go. Lots of random photos that aren't needed. All right, let's head back. Let's go see. So we've gone through all the photos. One thing I want to point out is the number of guests. I do like to track the number of guests because I think that makes a difference. We can see these both are 6 and his was 5. So let's just add that in right over here. We'll go, actually, let's go right to the last one because I'm going to have to put in the last one as well. I apologize, guys, if you're getting really bored, but this is really the process. So 6 guests. The number of guests that you have will make a difference as well. And so you want to make sure you know that. So 6 guests. Let's go 5 guests. Just being able to get, people tend to go in pairs, right? You want 3 couples to go on a trip together. Well, they can book out this home, but they can't book out this one. So maybe they'll pay a little bit more because they're splitting it 6 ways. But, 3 couples traveling together. I think I said 6. And then over here, you can't get that, right? So you can only have 2 couples or a family, so you're limiting the variety of people that can actually stay at your place, which lowers the number of people that want to stay there and doesn't allow you to have such a competitive market, right? So let's keep going. I do want to check out both queen beds. And here, look, he even says air mattress, and he's got a crib. That is interesting. So we got a pool and a gym. So I want to add those over here too because that makes a difference. So pool, and let's go gym. So we got those guys in there. Now the location. I think this will help us figure out some more. So Meg Mile is over here, so they're not close to Meg Mile. Okay, so that's something to point out. That's different. Not close to Meg Mile, but not too far away, right? So the other guys were like right on top of Meg Mile. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks away. That's not terrible. Maybe it's not all that far. But he's along the river. So, close to river. All right. So now we have that right down. So just for the sake of the video and the amount of time, we're at 45 minutes right now, and I'm really feeling myself slowing down with the amount of information I'm giving here. But I just want to just with what we have so far, okay? With what we have so far, if you were to look at this listing and you were to just look at the place itself, okay? It's a nice place. It's very well put together. There's good flooring. There's good design. The design is actually really nice. And then you look at this place, and once again, it is a good place, right? It's a nice design. The design's a little bit the design over here I would say is better than it is over here. I would say that these photos are pretty nice. There's even more light coming in than there would kind of be on this side. It's pretty even, but at the same time, just by what I'm trying to get at here is just by looking at the space itself is not enough. Okay, you need to really dive deep into why this person isn't doing as well as this one. What is the reason? There's a $30,000 difference here. And the thing is this is a highly competitive area, right? It's very, very competitive. And so you have a lot of these types of listings what are very high-end, nice listings, but this one could be considered it as well, right? And what I'm concluding this with, okay, and this is very raw. I'm just trying to figure it out as I go through and trying to learn as I do, right? And the way I'm going to conclude this, and why I think that this one isn't doing as well as this one, is first right off the bat is definitely going to be the opening photos. These are not appealing whatsoever. They do not pull you in. They're not very attractive. There's a screw up here. The way that he orders the photos, the psychology that he uses with the photos. If I could go to this guy, I would retake all of his photos. I would set them up in a different way. I would probably put a smaller table so we could push this back. I would do all these little tweaks that would make it feel more presentable. Okay, the title I would change without a doubt. I'm curious to know where this guy lines up on the pages of Airbnb. Is he high? Is he low? What is it? I know that he's not an Airbnb Plus. And I know he's not a super host, right? I also know that he's in a high rise, but he's not very high in the high rise. He has 5 guests instead of 6 guests. All these little things that the amount of space, the way the photos are put together, the title itself, the number of guests. All of these things are compounding on this guy's listing, and it's bringing them down. And so when somebody is trying to find a place that they want to stay at for their friends, and there's always one person who's in charge of finding the Airbnbs, right? And then they give everyone a list of like, hey, here are all the different Airbnbs that we can choose from, right? And this guy's got all these little things stacked against him. It's not even a terrible listing. That's the thing. I like it. It's a good kitchen, but he's got all these little things stacked against him. And then when you go through the photos, it's not very appealing. There's so many little things that would pull you away from it, right? And so what's most likely happening is people are going up against this listing, and they end up going with this one because it pulls you in better. It's got a better psychology to it. The way the photos are taken are smarter. They do things that make you want to be here more so than you want to be here, right? And so what's happening is this place is getting occupied. It has a higher occupancy. It's getting more people who are asking about it, things like that. And so they're asking a higher price. They're able to put the home higher up than other locations. And this guy over here, he's probably not getting as much of a response. So he's got to discount his home a little bit. And don't pay attention to this right here because this is always based off of the very lowest price and not the actual price. So please don't pay attention to this whatsoever. I should have mentioned that way earlier, but that's just the reality of it, okay? So what I'm getting at is there's a third, about $25,000 difference between these two, and most of it just has to do with all these tiny little features that are deterring this guy in comparison to this person over here. And so it's just breaking them down one by one by one, right? And they're both companies, but mind you, this one's $1 billion company and this one's not. And so what I would point out is this company probably has some overflow and they're able to push some business from one Airbnb to another, and so they're able to get even more bookings, right? Whereas this guy probably is able to do that as well, but not as much as this person. So this is what I take away from this, okay? One, understand the marketing side and the psychology side first, right? Or just make sure you understand that. Event, you buy the book, Optimize My B&B, without a doubt, and just understand and get to understand it. Understand how the first 5 photos work, things like that, okay? That's number one. Number two is when you're looking at a space, the kitchen, bathroom, and space aren't the only things that matter, okay? Clearly, right? So there's a few different things that come into mind, right? Now the next thing is that with these two listings that are doing well, I would sum up that if I were to do everything the exact same way that they're doing it, but not be the business, so just doing it myself, I would assume that even if I did everything exactly how they did it, I would probably make $5,000 to $10,000 less. And I'm going to say $10,000. The reason I'm going to say $10,000 is because they're probably having a good amount of overflow and other reasons as to why they're able to get this higher than most, right? Because this is 25,000 is a significant difference for places that are not crazy different. So if I'm I'm going to assume $10,000 less from probably both these. So I'd say 85,000 if I had everything out of the park and had every single last thing just like they do, and Superhost and everything across the board. And even if I did things better than they did, I would have had a bigger place. I would still assume 85,000 because they may have some additional advantages that are pulling these places in. Okay, so that's one thing. So I'm saying, let's say we could do 85,000, and so that's going to pull that number down a little bit, and then it's going to bring it a little bit closer to what we're seeing over here. But at the same time, if this guy were to optimize his listing a little bit better, he's going to be able to, pull this number up. However, his listing isn't as big as these guys. So this unsuccessful listing, less successful, still successful, less successful. He's got a smaller unit. It's on a lower floor. He's got less guests. This guy has all the opposite, so it's going to allow him to do better. Plus, he's got better marketing, right? So these little things. So now my thought process is, okay, I know all of this information. How do I use this, right? Like how is this actually practically used? And the way that it's used is you go onto Zillow and you type in, 2-bedroom, 2-bath near north side, and you max out what the amount that you can pay in rent. And what you want to do is you want to find a place that is large enough to have a pull-out couch because you want to be able to have 6. You want to find a place that has a little bit more space than other spots. You want to find a spot that's high on the in the building. You want it to be higher up so it's got some good views. The closer I can get it to Meg Mile, the better I'm going to do most likely, right? Obviously, I need to have a pool and a gym to be competitive at this point. So those are 2 things that are going to matter. And then when I build out that, when I design it, I want to make sure it's designed well, but I also want to make sure the photos are taken well, where to the point where people can see the views that they're going to be looking at. I want to make sure that they can see those different things, and I want to make sure to get some good nighttime shots as well, so I can show these things off, right? So this is what I'm thinking when I'm trying to decide, like, hey, I need to find a place that's going to be successful. These are all the different things that I need that are going to make me successful. Everything I just listed off is something that I am now going to write down in a list, and in that list, I need those things if I'm going to be successful. I cannot have a living room that's this size. I just can't. It needs to be a little bit bigger. And if it is going to be a little bit bigger, if it is going to be this size, then I want to pay less rent, and I'm going to get rid of this larger size dining room, and I'm going to replace it with a smaller one. Probably put that smaller one right around here, or maybe just don't even have one because you have the counter space over here. And I'm going to add maybe some additional chairs for the TV, things like that. You know what I mean? Like, what can I do to make myself a little bit more competitive, even though I have less space? And that's what my mind starts racing to. Now that I understand what these successful guys are doing in comparison to the ones that are less successful, this is my target. I need to match this. I need to do better than these guys if I want to be able to get even remotely close to the amount that they're doing. And I want to avoid these mistakes that this person has made so that I don't end up where he is, right? And that's what you will be looking at and analyzing with these comparables. And that's what's going to help you pick the absolute best spot and best property, especially when you're in a highly competitive arena or area. If you're in a super competitive area, you have to be that diligent and focused to make sure that you can beat your competition. Okay. So that I'm going to wrap up the video with that. I hope that you were taking notes. I hope that, rewind this to the point where I said, these are all the different features that I'm going to look for to make sure that I get when I'm going to a high rise, right? And realize that those are the things that you want to realize for yourself in your own area about what's important, right? And I could go to any area in anywhere in the world and do this exact same thing, and I'm going to find things that are a reason why this one is doing better. And think about it, guys. These are tiny, tiny differences. Five guests compared to 6 guests, slightly more room, the way that the photos are lined up, the height, the floor that you're in within the building, right? These are tiny little differences, but we're looking at $25,000 in difference in revenue. That is a big deal, okay? Pay attention to that. That makes or breaks. That's the difference here, right? So pay attention. The little details go a long way, just like the difference between 2 bathrooms and 1 bathroom. These other little features will allow you to get an additional 20,000, clearly in this case, right? Or maybe another 10,000. And so you really want to pay attention to that because that's where the money's going to be made. So now that you've seen me go through this, okay, maybe watch it over, watch it again. I know it's a very long video, but just this is the process. I'm trying to give it like as raw as I can to you. This is what I do. This is how I try and figure out how it's the absolute best. Just go through and start writing things down, and you'll eventually just find the common traits, find the things that you're popping up, find the differences, and then that will tell you what you need and what you don't need, okay? So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you at the next video. Thanks, guys.